Stories always have two opposing forces, and Kagurabachi is no different to that. The Ishaku are the main opposing force, and Chihiro's group, I guess you could call them, are the main force. But a lot of other stories will include a third force, one that isn't fully on the main character side, but also not the opposing side. And in Kagurabachi, we have the Kamunabi, the secret police of Japan. However, balancing three forces in manga is very difficult, because you have to make all three seem strong, but at the same time, not make any of them feel underwhelming. And Kagurabachi actually balances this really well, with building up the agency's force, and then eventually the fight coming right to their front door, where we get to see everything they have.
Hi, my name is Cherry Bomb, and I fight for all the single moms out there that don't get the respect they deserve.
Let's do this! I am dangerous!
Now our introduction to the first member of their forces is Azami, and it does not miss with making him seem insanely powerful. Because in the chapter right before, we got to see Chihiro struggle a bit for the first time against two of the sorcerers after his head. But when Azami comes in, he defeats three of them with his bare hands, with the last one running away just due to Azami's importance as a member of the Kamunabi. This immediately gives us a very high opinion of the Kamunabi, showing them as an absolute power that keeps the world in order. And this idea is only pushed further by the next members of the Kamunabi we meet.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up.
The Anti-Cloud Gouger Squad is our first look at the Kamunabi's soldiers, and what kind of power the organization has outside of its leaders. And we get to see them in a fight against Sojo, where the force does end up losing, with it being the fault of some characters more than others. But this doesn't lower our view of the Kamunabi, because these guys fought an enchanted blade wielder after all. It doesn't get much stronger than that. Having the third force lose to one of the others is fine, but you just can't make it a humiliating loss. You needed to show off the strength of the group while still making the villain imposing. Ending the first arc of the series, we get to see all the higher-ups. This lets us get a better understanding of the sheer size of the Kamunabi, with it having 9 head leaders. And of course the introduction of the Kamunabi's peak of strength, Hiyuki.
Bro, let's just go back to the house, bro.
No, fuck that. What's up, nigga? Nigga, what's up, nigga? I'm gonna pick up my pants, and I gotta play my dog, nigga. What's up? Okay, I'm here, nigga. Nigga, that ain't shit to me, nigga. Shit to me. What's up, nigga? Nigga, swing again. Yeah, you're hurt, don't it? Come on. Let's swing.
Nope. Don't look at me. I told you not to come out here in the first place. Nuh-uh. Now look.
What's up, you trying?
Now we meet Hiyuki in this arc for 2 reasons. One is to help reassure that the Kamunabi is still a powerhouse in the world, because as cool as the Anti-Cloud Gouger Force was, a loss is still a loss, and that will make us doubt them a bit. So having their most badass member come around and knock around our main character for a bit makes us remember when Azami was introduced. Now the second reason she was introduced here is to show the Kamunabi's weakness. You see, although the organization is strong and able to be a key power in Japan, that doesn't mean they can afford to take down every single threat they can find. The sorcery clans in Japan are all filled with powerful sorcerers that would thin out the Kamunabi numbers if they tried to attack. Sure, they might get a few down, but their main clans would just gang up on them when they were at their weakest, which is why they end up having a bidding team to win the blade in the auction instead of it being taken by force. But after we see what Hiyuki turned the auction house into, we start to question if this is actually the reason. If they really couldn't just take the blade by force, if they have someone this powerful on their side. And our thoughts get backed up when the next arc begins and we learn more about the Kamunabi.
Speed, I'm watching the stream while you try not to laugh, bro. That's disrespectful, bro.
Now we've seen the Kamunabi's strengths and we know about its weakness. So now it's time to see someone use those weaknesses against the Kamunabi. Now the first branch of the Kamunabi we are introduced to are the Bodyguards, that each sword bearer has assigned to them. For Samura it is the Masumi, and for Aruha it is the Kokugoku Steam Squad.
Stop bro.
And well, we didn't get a strong introduction to these bodyguards at first, but this is a very intentional downplay. You see, having them be built up for the first part of the chapter only to be absolutely destroyed by Hirohiko serves more as a matter to build up the Ishaku and less to downplay the Kamunabi, which is why the Asumi are such a kick-ass group. Every time we see them, they are consistently the MVPs. Whether it is stalling Hishaku, fighting off waves of possessed bounty hunters, or just getting information. And having Jiro's back several times, they truly feel like elite soldiers that they were introduced as, making how Hirohiko demolished one of these squads even more intimidating than before. Also, fuck Fushimi, I genuinely do not like how popular that guy is. I know he'll get top 10 in the character pool somehow, and we'll get that new illustration. Could have been Ikuto. Now that we've got a good grasp about all the Kamunabi's strengths and weaknesses, it's time to show what they look at their strongest, giving us a showing of what makes them so intimidating to the world around them. But this is also the hardest part of the story, because when the third force fights the opposing force, they obviously can't win. But at the same time, if you make them lose too harshly, it doesn't make the villain group look strong, and more makes the third force look weak. So how does Hogazono approach this problem? He makes the Ishaku the slimiest, low-blowing, and cheating group you'll ever see. They use every single offhand trick you can think of. Traitors, kidnapping, suicide bombers, and even using the power of others to get ahead. This way, the Kamunabi can still lose at times, but it never makes us think they are weak. Instead, it just makes the Ishaku seem all the smarter for being able to trick a threat that's as strong as the Kamunabi. And don't get me wrong, Kamunabi fighters still get their moments to pop off. For example, characters like Natsuki and Kiri get introduced showing off what some of the Kamunabi's best can do. And also we get to see returning fighters showing off what they can really do, like Azami and Ikoto. This helps us see the huge range of fighters the Kamunabi has and just how dangerous they are. Not to mention there's still several teams in the base that are fighting battles we aren't seeing. But what is next for the Kamunabi? Will they be able to survive the raid against the Ishaku and still be a force in the story that will support Chihiro? Or will this be the end of them? Well, my guess is it'll be a bit of both. After this arc, the Kamunabi will definitely not be the size it used to be, and will be lacking in officers to fight battles that are considered top priorities. But I don't think the organization will be completely destroyed. Many of the fighters we've met have their own arcs that seem to be just beginning, so I believe at least a handful of them will survive and will continue to support Chihiro as the story continues. The ones I fully believe will live are Natsuki, Kiri, and Hiyuki, with her still guarding one of the sword bearers. But people like Azami and Ichiki might not make it to the end of this arc. They're powerhouses that keep the Kamunabi at the top, so if the Ishaku want the power to deal with the other two sword bearers, my guess is that they'll be taking the Shinichi this arc and dealing some major blows to the Kamunabi's numbers. Because currently, how the Ishaku are in standing is, well...
Kawhi Leonard, if I see your name on another top 10 list, I'ma kill somebody. I better not hear your name compared to LeBron again, or I'ma kill somebody. I don't want nobody saying Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James in the same sentence, not in the same paragraph, not in the same essay, unless trash comes after Kawhi Leonard's name.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. Always a treat talking about Kagurabachi. And check out my reaction videos that will be starting to go up again. Now that I found out how to get around the copyright system, tell me who your favorite member of the Kamunabi is in the comments below, and I'll see you all next video.